Okay, this is video number 1 for this optional graded homework practice quiz number 3, and so if you follow that Canvas link, excuse me, that'll take you to that link. Download it, or don't download it. At any rate, what I'm doing is I'm putting my answers here in this ungraded optional PQ 3, and I'm going to make my answers on that document. So let's see. So this is the doc. I'm going to retitle it number 14 so it stays in the right place. And so I'm going to walk through all of the solutions, and then I'll put the video links here. Actually, I'm going to make 6 videos, so this is going to be 6 separate links up here. At any rate, those are the tools, those are the instructions, those are further instructions that will apply to these sentences. And I've taken each of the sentences and just done without a number. So, number 1, potential fraud at the Trumpet organization obliged an accounting agency to disavow financial statements. So that is the full sentence. I'm going to keep it the way it is. And as always, replace as little text as possible, maintaining good grammar, faithful representation. So potential fraud is a thing. It, at the Trump organization, doesn't work. It, that's a prepositional phrase I can see. It obliged. It obliged an accounting agency to disavow financial statements. So that's your subject. You don't have to do this, but can't hurt. Go ahead and mark that guy as your subject, and then, because that will not change. So next, you can either deal with, I mean, you can see right there, you can see right there, at is a preposition. This is the beginning of a noun phrase, so that's a prepositional phrase. If you want to deal with that now, go ahead and do that. If you want to deal with a subject, you can do that. Either way, just don't forget about the prepositional phrase and leave it on its own. So next, since I was talking about it, why not? Let's do it. Potential fraud at it is a little bit weird, but the is a determiner, and the Trump organization is a company, equals prepositional phrase, determiner plus noun phrase equals prepositional phrase, however you want to say that. Either of those, and so based on that, I'm going to say that this is your prepositional phrase. All right, next is obliged. So, and you don't, these are, here, I'll put these in a different color. These are like intermediate steps, purple. Those are intermediate steps that you don't have to do, but can't hurt. So potential fraud at the Trump organization might oblige an accounting agency, so that's your required verb identification. Go ahead and mark that guy as a V. I have a main verb that's a determiner, so clearly that's going to be the object of that verb. So next. Potential fraud obliged it or them, because it's an agency. Agency is it, but company, more normal to say them. Potential fraud at the Trump organization obliged them to disavow financial statements totally. So that's an object ID. Mark that guy as an object. All I see is a determiner, and accounting, I guess, is a thing. Like there's a class on accounting, so I guess that's a noun. And agency is the main, because agency is that's the company, so that's the main noun. So there's no prepositional phrases in there. I'm not gonna sweat that. All right, next. So potential fraud obliged an accounting agency to. And the possibilities with to are possibility one is to a location, like direction from here to there. And to disavow doesn't sound like any place I've ever heard of. The other possibility is to do so. And that sounds pretty good. Potential fraud, obliged an accounting agency to do so. That is faithful. If you read the original sentence, to disavow financial statements, that is totally what we're talking about. So that's your infinitive verb phrase identification. And that means you can mark that whole thing as an infinitive verb phrase. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything to the contents of this infinitive verb phrase. And so that sentence pattern is SVO, subject fraud, obliged verb, agency O, plus infinitive verb phrase. Oh, and also, I'll deal with this now. So Jennifer asked a question. If there's an object inside the infinitive verb phrase, how do you deal with it? You can ignore it, just like I said, you can ignore everything inside those brackets with the label. And so, for example, like what is she talking about? Let me go back. You can see right here. I'll put this back in the agenda. So if there's an object inside an infinitive verb phrase, how do you deal with it? For example, that right there, like potential fraud at the Trump Organization obliged an accounting agency to disavow financial statements, disavow them totally. And that is an object ID, but it's the object of the word them. Them is the object of the word to the left. And the word to the left is disavow. That's a verb, but it's not just any verb. It's an infinitive verb, which means it doesn't have any time signature. It's not its own sentence. That's why I'm saying you can ignore everything inside those brackets, and you can ignore them, like to verb, to disavow, or whatever words are in there, because you're going to copy the contents of that infinitive verb phrase, delete the to, supply a subject, analyze the sentence. So everything, all of the words inside inside disavow financial statements will be analyzed once you take out the contents and analyze the infinitive verb. So, okay, so back to my analysis. So the infinitive verb procedure, copy the contents, delete to, supply a logical subject, just like I was saying before. So it's all of that minus to. Who is disavowing the financial statements? That accounting agency. So you can either do an accounting agency disavowed or disavows with an S. Either one of those would work. Or an agency. You could also do that. I'm going to keep the contents. It's the contents of this object that becomes the subject, just like that. So, okay, so this is and label it. This is the converted infinitive verb sentence, and then the verb in here, disavow, is going to be the main verb. And I know it's the main verb because it's an infinitive verb in the previous sentence. The reason I'm taking it out is to make disavow, to make it the main verb. Okay, so that's my sentence. And that's pretty simple. So they disavowed financial statements, subject. They might, I mean, I already know that disavow is the verb because I'm the one that's taking it out of the infinitive. So that's your verb, and they're going to disavow them. This disavow them is exactly what I did over here this is in the agenda. as this example. So so I have, oh shoot, uh, so that's the original sentence, to disavow financial statements. And now I will do the object ID, them. So this potential fraud obliged an accounting agency to disavow them. It's an object ID, and it is exactly the same disavow them. It's exactly the same object ID. So as long as you're doing both of these object identifications correctly, you'll come out with the same answer. It's just easier to not do it inside the infinitive verb phrase. Sometimes syntactic tests don't perform as well inside an infinitive verb phrase, so it's just generally better to take all that stuff out and analyze it separately. So, okay, we're good to go. So that's a subject, and that's a verb, and that's the object of the thing to the left, and that's SVO. So oblige, that's the sentence pattern, subject, verb, object plus infinitive. Disavow is SVO. Okay, that's the end of number one. I'm going to split these all into 6 separate videos.